Many times when you're working with a spreadsheet, you are dealing with some things that are really long and difficult to navigate. And as you're working with these spreadsheets, I wanted to show you some quick little tips on how to freeze columns and rows to help with your navigation of this sheet. So, to probably identify your students easiest, you want to freeze column A and sometimes column A and B. So to do that, you simply select the columns that you want. If you want just last names, you're going to select that column and it gets highlighted. Then you're going to come over to View, then select Freeze. And because you're working with columns, you're going to freeze that first column. So I'm going to come down and just select column 1. And I get kind of this little gray little feature. And as you can see, I can start to scroll and move over and still have my students' last names. To unfreeze them, I come over to View, and then I remove No Columns. And that will now be undone. If I want to freeze both columns, I do for 2. Or, for instance, if you want to freeze all the way up to just, uh, you can freeze as many as you want to personalize it. The other option you have is that you can freeze rows. So I'm going to keep my title row here. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to View, Freeze, and this time I'm going to freeze it up to the current row, which is row 11 that I have selected. I select that, and now I can move it up and down and still have that. To undo it, I repeat the same process, and I choose No Rows, and it goes away. The next set is that I can freeze a row and column. I can freeze up to row 11, and I can also freeze up to the first column. So now I have all of my student last names, and I have my view here. So I can move up and down and sideways to go through my spreadsheet. And that is how to freeze and unfreeze your rows and columns for navigation.